So welcome, my dear students. Welcome, everybody. Welcome, everyone. Today, we will talk a new topic in CIA for you in the economic. We will talk about very important topic that we call it the inflation. Inflation. So what do we mean by the word inflation and what the meaning of the inflation? How can we measure the inflation? That's what we will come to know today. Inflation is, of course, the high rise in prices. The prices go high. Inflation, a general increase in the price of goods and services in an entire economy over time. So this is increase. But this is the inflation. So increase in prices, but the deflation means general decrease in the level of prices. Inflation means the prices are high, the people want to buy, but they are willing to pay any amount of money to buy the product. But the deflation is the opposite. The deflation means that recession. People don't have money to buy. To explain why Canadian government stressed the goal of price stability, it's actually not the Canadian government, it's any government in the world. They would like to make a price stability. Let's examine the inflation in details, how it measured. So we'll see what do you mean by the consumer price index, the CPI, the GDP deflator, and inflation's effect. First of all, types of inflation. This is very important part. What are the types of inflation? What are the types of inflation? The first inflation, when you measure it with the appendix, it goes in from the rate of 1% to 4%. When the rate of inflation is slowly, we call it creeping, like a small baby, creeping inflation. When the rate of inflation slowly increases over time. So for example, the inflation rate rises from 2% to 3%, we call it creeping. Creeping inflation may not be immediately noticeable, but if the creeping rate of inflation continues, it can become an increasing problem and you would be marking it. But it goes slow down. It goes very, very slow down, this type of inflation. The second type of inflation, we call it walking inflation. And here, the inflation is between 2% to 10%. When inflation is a single digit, less than 10%. So when it is from 2% to 10%, we call it walking inflation. We call it walking inflation. At this rate, inflation is not a major problem, but when it rises over 4%, when it goes over 4%, here the central bank will be increasingly concerned. And then we will start to do the monetary policies, which we know before, like increasing the interest rate and using the open market operations, like buying and selling the bonds and the stocks, so that to fight the inflation. So he will sell, the central bank will sell. If there is inflation, the central bank will sell the bonds and the certificates of deposits and the stocks, the governmental stocks, and so on. And in the same time, will raise the interest rate. So the inflation, the money units in the circulations will be pulled out into the banks. So the money units in circulation will reduce down, so the inflation will go down. We have also running inflation. What is the running inflation? What is the running inflation? Running inflation, when inflation starts to rise at a significant rate. It is usually defined as, this is from 10% to 20%. We call it running inflation. It is usually defined as a rate between 10% and 20% a year. So it goes like every year the prices will increase 10% to 20%. We call it, in that case, running inflation. At this rate, inflation is imposing significant costs on the economy and could easily start to creep higher. The upcoming one now is what we call it galloping inflation. This is hard because this is from 20% to 1,000% means 10 times. You see, this is inflation rate between 20% and 1,000%. At this rapid rate of price increases, inflation is a serious problem, of course, because the prices will go like very strong. It will go up like sharp going up, and will be challenging to bring under control. So it won't be under control then. Some definitions of galloping inflation may be between 20% and 100%. There is no universally agreed definition, but hyperinflation usually employs over 1,000% a year. We'll move now to something we call it the Consumer Price Index. So what is the Consumer Price Index? As example, let's say in 1994, the price was $2 and the quantity was 10. So 2 by 10, that's 20. And this from the hamburger, and from the milkshake, the price was $1 and the quantity was 30. So 1 times 30 will give me 30. So the expenditure per month, I will spend $50 for buying hamburger and milkshakes. I will buy with $50 for $50 hamburgers and milkshakes. That was in 1994. Okay. In 1995, the same things. The hamburger became $2.20 and the milkshake became was $1.05. So if I say as example that I bought the same amounts, 10 and 30, so I bought 10 units, it will cost me $22. And from the milkshake, the 30 units, which I bought here for $30, it will cost me $31.50. So instead of that, I will pay like I paid in 1994, I paid $50. No, here I paid $53.50. This we call it the price index, the price index. Okay. So here is show like the Canadian Statistics Survey about the people, how far they spend their money in. So on the food, the Canadians spent 18.1%, tobacco and alcohol 5.6%, recreation and education 8.8%, the health 4.2%, transportation 18.3%, which is more than the food. So the Canadians spend in the transportation more than what they spend in eating. Clothing 8.7%, which is more than tobacco and alcohols, and housing, look at the housing portion, too much, 36.3%. Yes, we all pay mortgage and okay. We have a very important relationship between the nominal income and the real income. Let me tell you something. The nominal income is the value of the money, the book value of the money, the book value of the money. But the real income is what the money can buy. So I have now nominal and real income. So what is the difference between the nominal income and the real income? Again, the nominal income is that the value, the paper value of the money. But the real income is what the money can buy. What the money can buy. Okay. How can I switch from nominal into real income? So to calculate the real income, like you see here in this equilibrium, to calculate the real income will equals the nominal income divided by the CPI. So it will equal the nominal income divided by the CPI. What is the CPI? The CPI is the Consumer Product Index. It's the Consumer Product Index. This is the CPI. So if I tell you the nominal income is $100 and the CPI is 0.1, so you will divide $100 by CP1, it will give you the real income. Real income means what money can buy. Okay. Okay, let us see this now. This is the deflators or GDP deflator. How it consists of? the output of microchips as example, the current price. So when you multiply 2 by 3 will give you 4, the output current price. Okay, these are the outputs at the price when we call this, we take 2, this one, and multiply by 0.2. Why 0.2? This is the out price of 1994 price. So here it will be 200. When we take here 2000, 0.2, it will give me 400. 2500.2, it will give me 500. Then we will divide 4 by 5. So 200 by 200 will give me 1. 600 by 400 will give me 1.5. 1000 by 500 will give me 2, and this we call it the GDP deflator. However, what I care about is this now. The GDP deflator, I will give it to you calculated, and I will give you the nominal GDP, so you will give me the real GDP. How I will calculate the real GDP? Now, I will divide the GDP deflator, the normal GDP, this one, I will divide it, the normal GDP, I will divide it by the GDP deflator. It will give me the real GDP. As example, 75.4, you will divide it by 3,000, then it will give you 251.3. 505.7, this is the nominal GDP. I will divide it by the GDP deflator 1, it will give me 505.7, the same because you divide by 1. If the nominal GDP is 710.7, I will divide by 1.2, which is the deflator here, it will give me 573.4. Okay, this is the meaning of the GDP deflator and how to get the real GDP from the nominal. I will divide the nominal by the GDP deflator. Okay, but I can see here, the GDP in any year is found by dividing the economy nominal GDP, okay, by the deflator, by the value of the GDP deflator. While Canada's nominal output rose from, this is about the statistics of the nominal, but like I told you before, we don't care about the nominal, but we care about the real. Now, we'll move to the second part, which is the unemployment. We're done for the inflation because we have a relationship between the unemployment and the inflation. So the labor population, we said the population which is specific exclusion from which Statistics Canada takes place. We have labor force in every country. We have also participated rate. So the labor force are all people who either have a job or seeking to work. They have a job or looking for work or looking for a job. Okay, but the participation rate or the percentage of entire labor force population that makes up the labor force. So they will be the labor force divided by labor force population. Let me take this down. So the equation will be times 100%. So as example, if the labor force was 13.946 million and the whole population, labor force population were 21.392 million, you will divide them, then this will give you the participation rate. Will give you the participation rate. What about the unemployment rate in any country? How they will calculate the unemployment rate? The unemployment rate will be the unemployment in the labor force divided by the labor force times 100%. Okay, these are the ways to calculate the participation rate and unemployment rate. And examples are so much about this. Now we'll go to check what do we mean by the unemployment. The problem of workers being underutilized, either as a part of workers or by working at a job not appropriate to their skills or education. It is sometimes argued that the official rate understates employment by ignoring the underpaid worker. Okay. What about discouraged work? And unemployment statistics do not take into account unemployed people who have given up looking for work. Those people who don't want to work anymore. Now, what I care about this is honestly, some people responding to Statistics Canada's labor market survey may state that they are actively looking for a work when they really are not. They might say, yes, I'm working for work, but they are not. Now, this part is very, very important. What are the types of unemployment? We have 4 different types of unemployment: frictional, structural, clerical or cyclical, and seasonal unemployment. The first one is the frictional. Unemployment due to being temporarily between jobs or looking for a first job. So you left your job and you're looking for another job, we call it frictional. It is a permanent feature of labor's markets, represents about 3% of the labor force all the time. Structured unemployment due to a mismatch between people and jobs. So the people are not matching with the jobs. This type of unemployment occurs because of gradual changes in the economy. Long-term adjustments in what, how, and where products are produced cause such unemployment. We have also what we call the cyclical unemployment. What about the cyclical unemployment, how it looks like? Unemployment due to the ups and downs of economics. So when the economic is flourishing, the unemployment go down. When the economic is not nice, the unemployment raise up. So because of the economic, causing unemployment to rise and fall. So it has ups and downs. Seasonal employment, this is usually in the agriculture countries. Seasonal employment, this is usually in the agriculture countries. Like it's related to some kind of crops. Was example for the cotton. The time when the people are harvesting the cotton, so there is the employment rate is very low. People are working. But when the cotton season is gone, people don't find jobs. So we call it seasonal because it's based on season. The seasonal nature of some occupations and industries. Full employment, this is what we want to say also. That means is the highest, let us see it here, I will put it down, is the highest reasonable expectation of employment for the economy as a whole, as is defined in terms of the natural employment rates. So these are the employment, and also is looking for the minimum wages and how to calculate the minimum wages. I will go for some questions now, which is very important for these basics, and take it here. A general increase in the price of goods and services in an entire economy, we call it what? Inflation or deflation or stability. Of course, it's inflation. A general decrease is deflation in the level of prices is deflation. Unemployment due to being temporary between jobs. So we said this is the frictional unemployment. But dots unemployment due to mismatch between people and job, this is structural unemployment. Dots unemployment due to the ups and downs of the economic, we said this is cyclical or seasonal. Dot income income expressed in current dollars. This is the nominal. Like I told you, this is the book value. But we don't care about the nominal value. We care about the real. This one, we care about the real value, what the money can buy. Dot income measures the purchasing power of the household. Dots GDP is gross domestic product expressed in current year. We said the nominal. But the GDP given an indication of the purchasing power. When it comes to the purchasing power, then this is real. Usually with the power, you put the word real. Dot is the survey year used as a point of comparison. Usually we start the comparison with the base year. Dots interest rate, desired rate interest plus inflation premium, the nominal. The creeping inflation is from 1 to 4%. The hyperinflation involves price changing so fast. This is the hyperinflation. And that is all the questions regarding this part. Shall leave you, my dear students, safe. Thank you so much. Have a wonderful day. Thank you so much.